by 10:15, I should be done. Okay, so I've been told that by 10:15, I should be done. By 10:15, I should be done. Okay, now quickly, by the end of this section, participants will be able to discuss factors affecting transfer of learning, then analyze the role of stakeholders in transferring learning, and then demonstrate strategies that can be used to enhance transfer of learning. So the first one says we should discuss the factors affecting transfer of learning. Please note the time you take in the discussion is not my own part of time. So if we use 5 minutes to discuss, we remove the 5 minutes. My own is 20 minutes for myself, and maybe 10 or 20, no, 10 minutes for you. Okay. All right. All right. So quickly, let's discuss what are the factors that could affect the transfer of learning. 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 Please, can we quickly discuss them and then we move on? You could raise your hand. You could put them in the chat room. What has been your experience? Someone said my screen is not showing. No, my screen is actually showing. My screen is showing. Please kindly review. I'm still at learning objectives, so I've not reviewed. So my screen is showing from this end. Kindly check yours to be sure that is. Okay, so quickly, what are the factors that can affect the transfer of learning? Please, if you want to give us a voice, go ahead. It'll be easier for us. Thank you, sir. All right, we are waiting. Let's make it very brief.
Okay, from my end, I would just say that what could affect transfer of learning, if the person to transfer learning has not actually gotten the tips clearly, is not yet well equipped, so he will transfer abruptly information to others who will learn. So in other words, the communication would have been broken.
Go ahead. Factors. Okay, please, can we have any other person? I think Prof's voice was ceasing. Factors.
Sorry, I guess it was the network.
Okay, sir, please go ahead, sir.
Yes, I said the person to transfer learning, if he himself had not properly acquired the learning process, the information, he would transfer the thing abruptly, and then there will be communication gap in what is to transfer. So the facilitator or the trainer himself must be well equipped with information to transfer. If not, nothing to transfer.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So the capacity of the facilitator or the trainer can affect transfer of learning. All right. From the chat room, Chukwu said, Mr. Chukwu said, poor preparation before presentation. All right. Thank you. Another is too much point. Okay, thank you. Any other person? Factors affecting the transfer of knowledge. Victor said lack of effective preparation scheme. All right, thank you. Who else? Hope we've not gone to be preparing slides. Good. Okay, we are still waiting for more points. Please note that this time you are taking is not part of my time, it's your own time. All right, now quickly by introduction, the value of any learning application of knowledge and skill in learning new skill or concept or using it. The value of any learning is application of knowledge and skills in learning new skills or concepts or using it in another situation. So there are two things involved in the value of learning. One is the application of the knowledge or the concept or using the knowledge in another situation. It's either you are gaining the value for upgrading your skills or knowledge, or you are using the knowledge in another situation for the purpose of solving problems. Now, in organization, training is aimed at evolving existing ways and patterns of work. That's evolving existing ways and patterns of solving problems. It is aimed at individual development, which cannot happen until there is a transfer of learning from the trainer to the trainees. And the same is finally reflected in their way of work. Now, I want to say something categorically. Whether we believe it or yes, all of us are trainers. Whether we believe it or yes, all of us are involved in the learning value chain. In our homes, in our workplaces, in the different organizations and associations we find ourselves, we are all involved in the learning value chain. So whether you believe it or not, you are consciously or unconsciously a trainer and consciously or unconsciously a trainee. Okay, so we must all understand how the transfer of learning is done. Now, according to Haskell 2001, you referred to it as transfer of learning as the influence of past learning on current and future learning and the application or adaptation of previous or current learning to similar or novel situations. It is the influence of past learning on current and future learning and the application or adaptation of previous or current learning to similar or novel situations. So transfer of learning simply talks more on how you're able to use what you've learned, how you're able to apply what you've learned. Okay. Now, one of the ways for us to evaluate whether there was an effective transfer of learning or whether there was an effective learning is through your micro facilitation. By the time we listen to you today, watch you in the micro facilitation, we'll be able to say whether you can actually transfer knowledge or transfer learning or not. The effective and continued application by trainees to their jobs of the knowledge and skills gained in training, that's according to Broad and Newstrom. Conditions for transfer of learning, there must be similarity between the two situations. There's similarity between what you've learned and the situation at hand that you want to solve. So the knowledge must be used in relevant situations. Now, degree of meaningfulness and relevance of the learning, I just mentioned it. Length of instructional time. Now, this is also very, very important. Length of instructional time is very, 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 very important. We should have decided to do this training maybe for 2 days or even 3 days. But we are taking the time to make sure that it's gotten right. After this training, the next version of this training will be 10 days. So that we can have all the time to explore, we can have all the time to discuss. Now, like group one now that say they are not ready, we'll wait for them till they are ready. We just have to be sure that there will be effective transfer of learning afterwards. So the length of time that we use for instructional development is very, very key. Okay. I don't think there is any course in IPM that is less than maybe 5 days. I don't think there is any course. But we have courses that are up to 20 days. We have courses that are up to, I think the maximum is about 30 days. Because we know that in that length of instructional time, when it comes to learning that regards to application, we must oversee your reactions. We must oversee your activities. We must be sure we are there to coach and mentor you to be able to practice. All right. Now, the next one is exposure to a variety of learning experiences. That is also key. Then applicability to various contexts. You could have knowledge of mathematics, but you can apply it in various ways, relevant contexts. In contextual functions, you can apply them. Now, there is a discussion activity here that says, recall a learning experience where you successfully transferred your knowledge and skill to another setting. You were able to use what you learned in something or a situation. Now, what helped you make the transfer? Were your interventions? Were there interventions or activities that were useful in supporting your transfer of training to your job or to the situation? What worked against the successful transfer of your knowledge or skills? Now, quickly, let's review that. Have you ever had an experience that at the end of the day, you were able to use what you learned in solving a problem? Now, what were the things that helped you transfer? And if you were unable to transfer, what were the things that hindered you from transferring that knowledge? Okay, so one person, 1 point. One person, 1 point. So it's either you give us a voice or you type it in the chat room. We've been learning so much. And obviously, it's not everything we've learned that we've been able to apply. There are things we've learned and we are looking for ways to apply. If it is left for us in IPM, every member of IPM, we are working you to becoming a consultant, not only a training consultant, full-blown management consultant. So even if you don't have a platform, we are willing to give you a platform. Okay, and that is one of the reasons we are doing this training. So at the end of the day, you will not just keep your knowledge to yourself. You must be ready to transfer it to job. You must be able to pass it across to others. All right. Okay, so I'm waiting. Recall a situation or recall a learning experience where you successfully transferred your knowledge and skills to another setting. What did you learn and where did you apply it? That's just the question. What did you learn and where did you apply it? From Professor Taiwo, saying rigidity of the organization to absorb new idea prevented me to transfer learning to the organization. Okay, so as a management experience could cause that. Organizational rigidity. Thank you. Okay, so can you also give us one that you were able to transfer the knowledge? You've told us one good reason. All right, Mr. Ishmael, please kindly unmute and go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. Now, there's one thing that have helped me very successfully after coming to this class is that it also improved me in giving teaching, or when I'm teaching my students, it gives me, or it helped me how to impart knowledge and then understand their level of knowledge. So all the time when I go for a class and then I see my students, then I know that, okay, that is why sometimes you will speak, they'll ask you so many questions. But now I know that there's a level of understanding of impartation that we can make. So it really helped me. Thank you.
Okay, so you've been able to use what you learned to train students, to teach students effectively. All right, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The program. from my hand, I've learned a lot through IPM, this online training and using information communication technology to drive learning. I've successfully used that in the last one session since I've been learning from IPM. And recently, I transformed that to the student union the student government association election that was just conducted using e-voting, e-registration, and WhatsApp. And management really commended that one because I'm the Dean Student Affairs, and it really stayed us. Thank you, sir.
That's beautiful. So that one is a visible application. Well done, sir. Okay, one person, 1 point. So let's have another person. There is no way all of us have not learned something new, even from your primary school. You've been learning. So give us a situation where your learning experience, you've been able to transfer it successfully. You've been able to apply it. Or can we paraphrase? What is that one thing you've learned and you've been able to apply? What helped you to apply? If you are unable to apply, what hindered you from applying? That's just the question. We are waiting. Okay, let me be sure everyone is in this class. You know, one of the rules of adult learning is that you don't call people, you don't mention names. You don't point people and say, you say something. That's one of the rules. So we are respecting everybody in adult learning. Okay. But you, as my friend, I'll call you to help. Okay. So, Honorable Rahim, you wanted to say something. Your mic is open. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Goke Rahim once again. Honestly, since I've joined the IPM member, it has improved me tremendously. And most of my work now, I do it easier than how I used to do it before. And some of the multinational we work with, honestly, sometimes they are being forced to work with us on a number of occasions. I can remember they have a project, like 3 buildings they want to design and supervise. And they were forced to give us 2. In fact, they told us that if not because the NAPIMs will not accept that the 3 jobs given to us, they will have given us all the 3 jobs. So, and when my MD was away, when he came back, one of the project leader in Total told him that he likes the way we work. In fact, he's comfortable whether my MD is around or is not around because we are able to deliver and we are always prompt. And our project management is of top notch. So I think the IPM has done a lot to me or for me in that regard. So I think I've gone a lot from my IPM. Thanks, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So you've been able to use your learning experiences here, especially in project management, to plan your project, to supervise your project, and to deliver promptly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, from Mr. Jensen said, I was able to apply the skills I learned in my emotional intelligence course to better handle suppliers at my organization. Okay, now it mustn't be from IPM. I'm sure there are other places you've learned from. Like I said, right from primary school, even in your home, your wife, your husband, your children could have taught you something. Okay, you're learning. Okay, now let's quickly move on. Now, factors affecting transfer of learning. We have program participants, their perceptions, their motivations, their dispositions. Their perceptions, their motivations, their dispositions. It can affect transfer of learning. Then the program design also can affect transfer of learning, like the elements thereof, the implementation, and the unfocused objectives. The unfocused objectives can affect transfer of learning. Then the program content, does it meet the learner's needs? if it meets the learner's needs, then the person is possibly going to pay more attention than when it's not meeting any need at all. Then changes required to apply learning. Then you have organizational context. When you are applying it to the organization, the context there with regards to the people, the structure, and the culture. Just like what Professor Taiwo said, he said, as a dean of student affairs, he revolutionized some of the processes to use the e-process. Now, if there is management stampede on it, it won't work, no matter how he tries. If there is management rigidity towards it, it won't be able to work. Then also the people that you're trying to address, the student affairs. If the students now wake up and start protesting, it will affect the whole process. Say, no, like in Nigeria now, we've been saying pass the electoral bill. I heard that they want to pass it today. Let's pray that they will pass it today. Pass the electoral bill. People have gone on the street protesting on all manner of things, but yet. Then another one is the culture, the belief system, which is at the root of organizational behavior. Okay, that's a way of also affecting transfer of learning. Okay. Now, learning or training transfer model. First, we have from the learning learner characteristics rather. On the learner characteristics, we have the cognitive ability, self-efficacy, motivation. Then from there, or we'll say the inputs, the inputs, the techniques, and then what we expect as the output. Now, on the model of training, the inputs we expect to have before we start learning or transferring of learning is that we need to observe the learner characteristics, their cognitive ability, their self-efficacy, and their motivation to learning. Then we'll also have to look at the intervention design or training design or learning design or workshop design or course design, whichever one you want to call it. Now, the course design, the development of learning goals, adult learning principles that should be used, instructional methods and media, then self-management strategies. All of these should be looked into when designing the program that you want to transfer. Then another one is the work environment. The work environment, the strategic link of training with the work environment. Even if we don't want to say work environment, you could talk about career environment. The link between is obviously trying to tell you the link between the learning and the application. All right, the link between the learning and the application. Then organizational climate and accountability. Will it give access to the training? Will it permit the training? I have noticed over time, I've been privileged to conduct some public sector training. Most public sector training is more of an avenue for compensation for some people, like to get extra codes, to get allowances and the likes. Okay, we've had a training where the organization says the people, now talking about the people, how people affect the transfer of knowledge, right? Of the organization. Now the people said they are the ones that want the training and they don't want the training in Abuja. So we'll now ask them, why is it that they don't want the training in Abuja? They say if the training is in Abuja, they will not pay them training allowance. They will not pay them traveling allowance, accommodation, feeding, and all of that. So they primarily want to go outside of Abuja, even if it's just 1 kilometer away from Abuja, no problem. Okay. And they say it shouldn't be far. It shouldn't be far from Abuja. Okay, but they don't want to hold it inside Abuja so that they will get the allowances. And the training was scheduled to be for 5 days. They said no, 5 days is too much. They should bring it to 2 days. Okay, so if you look at the organizational climate and accountability towards training, it affects the transfer thereof. Then you have opposition to perform. You would have learned to, but to now practice what you learned is another thing. Professor Taiwo talked about management rigidity. Yes, it affects training. Then you have the technological support also. Okay, technological support. As a trainer, one of the things you must be conversant with is the digital trends in learning. Okay, the digital trends in learning. You must be well acquainted with that. It's not only Zoom. Don't just get acquainted with Zoom and that's all. No. Get acquainted with Zoom, get acquainted with Google Meet, get acquainted with YouTube, get acquainted with Facebook, get acquainted with learning management system, get any system at all, just get acquainted with them. So that because you don't even know where you will find yourself tomorrow as a learner. What if they move you from Nigeria to Dubai and then on getting to Dubai is not Zoom, maybe it's Google Meet. And then you begin to call and say, please, how do they use this one? They now begin to evaluate you from there. Okay, so technical support is very, very important. And that's why we talk about the use of ICT in training and development. Now, in the use of ICT, primarily the two things we'll talk about there is developing your content on PowerPoint, and then the use of PowerPoint, projector, and then the use of e-learning platform like Zoom to move your training. Okay, now these are the inputs. From the input, the processing approach for these inputs is learning and transfer. Participants first of all learn, and then they'll be able to transfer the learning to another. What do we expect as the output? What we expect is individual and organizational performance, boost in individual and organizational performance. That's all we're expecting. Okay, so the next time you want to do a training, you sit down and look at all of these things, and then assessing yourself, assessing your trainees and the environment. Okay, now for the sake of time, I may have to move through this. This would be like repetition. Now, discussion activity again. Certain strategies can be used to ensure learning is effectively transferred. Briefly discuss some of these strategies. Certain strategies can be used to ensure learning is successfully transferred. Briefly discuss some of these strategies. Now let's quickly move on to the strategies for the sake of time. Now, one, use a learning evaluation model to inform choice of learning transfer activity. This has been said over and over again. Don't ever neglect the use of evaluation. There is no training. In fact, any training you do without evaluation possibly does not have an impact, because it is the evaluation that will tell you the impact. So always make sure that there's what? Evaluation. The person that taught us training evaluation said, even if you've not been doing it before, from this day onward, make sure you have evaluation. Evaluation from the trainees on the part of the trainer, evaluation on the content, evaluation on the learning environment. If food is served, evaluation on the food. Evaluate everything. Evaluate the co-participants. Okay? Evaluate everything. It will guide you. Remember, we said one of the competencies or skills a trainer must have is data-driven decision-making skills. Data-driven. Data-driven. The only way to have data that will help you make decisions is when you have evaluation in place, evaluation model in place. The second thing there is group learning transfer activities into categories. Group learning transfer activities into categories. It's not only in IPM, in most organizations around the world, according to standards of professional development, you see things like basic, intermediate, then advanced. Just one course, you see in different categories. In IPM, you primarily hear things like diploma, associate, and then lead or senior. Okay, in CMD, you hear things like basic, intermediate, and advanced. In people like CIPM, you hear things like foundation, intermediate. Then you have professional 1, which is the associate. You have professional 2, which is senior associate. Then you have professional 3, which is the professional itself. So you have different categories based on the group activity, the group characteristics, learner characteristics, and all of the things you've analyzed, right? Then you have 3, choose learning transfer activities according to impact. The training methodologies, the transfer methodologies you use, please make sure it is based on the impact. Someone asked the question in one of the sessions. He said, how can we have training that will have lasting impact? And we said one of the ways is to have a congruent learning methodology, a learning methodology that will create sustainable impact. Okay, thank you. Now, another one is the use a learning evaluation model, example like the Kirkpatrick. We've talked about the Kirkpatrick over and over again. You have reaction, behavior, and then you have the observations and the outcomes. Okay. Now, learning evaluation method measure both learning and performance outcomes, determining where learning is working and where it isn't. Data gotten can be used to inform learning transfer activities that will produce the best results. Now, strategies to enhance learning continued. Okay, I think we are just some of the things. Okay, so we're just explaining the work. Now, group learning activities into categories, like I said, easier to match the right activities with organization and staff needs. The activities can be grouped into learner readiness, learning design, and organizational alignment. Taking, for instance, learner readiness. For some organizations, you want to go and train them, and then the staff will now come to you and say, sir, this is what we want to do. Okay, sir, how much are you willing to cut from this whole training? Now we will give you part of our allowance, but we are not ready to come for that training. Just prepare certificate and give us. Please, when you go there, you will see that. If you've not seen, you will see. Especially when you become a full-blown consultant, that maybe you have like 5-10 trainings in a week. When you have such people coming to you, you just tell them, no problem, no problem, no problem. Send me your names. This is where you send the account. You send the account. Okay, please, that's not part of the standard. Then the learning design, like I said, design according to the categories of people. Then organizational alignment, there must be organizational alignment to the training. So these are just explanations. What is the time now? What was I supposed to stop? Okay. By 10:30 we should be done. Okay, so these are just explanations to all of the things we've been talking about. Things we also have things like peer support activities that will help. Now, another discussion activity here said, when should transfer strategies be employed? Who are the key players involved, and how can it be best facilitated? I will just move straight because of time and just carry out a thorough training needs analysis from the beginning. That's training transfer strategies used before training. Number 1, TNA. Number 2, identify the training goals and learning objectives before you start designing the course. Number 3, align learning outcomes with organizational goals and on-job tasks. Plan to provide just-in-time learning using the most appropriate delivery method. Review training on the basis of goals and content. Use actual work issues or examples. Don't use examples that are not relevant. If you must use case studies that after they review the case study, they will find learning in it. Then use relevant instructional strategies. Align content with real-life job roles and responsibilities. Provide action plans to retain and improve motivation. Provide trainees with opportunities to apply their new knowledge and skills on the job. So if there is strategy for demonstration, for practice, let it be done so that you can evaluate the depth of knowledge before they move on. Then talk with other trainees about how they are applying the training at work. That's after the training, try to follow up as impact assessment. Then discuss transfer behavior during performance reviews. Now, role of stakeholders in transferring learning. While the supervisors during learning participate in or observe learning to demonstrate support, protect learners from interruptions, plan post-training debriefing, provide supplies, space, and schedule opportunities for learners to practice. Now, supervisors, the role of supervisors after learning: monitor progress of action plans with learners and revise as needed, conduct post-training debriefing with learners and co-workers, provide an opportunity for co-workers to ask the learners questions about the training, and be a coach and role model. Now, the role of trainers: involve managers in performance analysis and intervention, work with supervisor on how to support learner transfer, provide realistic job aids, design activities that engage learners, tapping their existing knowledge and skills, provide work-related exercises and appropriate job aids. That's for the trainer. For the learners, participate in needs assessment and planning. Yes. Review course objective and expectations and prepare preliminary action plans. Participate actively in the course. Meet with the supervisor to review action plan. Apply new skills and implement action plans. Now, the role of the peers or co-workers or the co-trainees: participate in this assessment and discussions of the training intended impact. Ask learner about the knowledge and skills learned in training. Offer to assist learner in work tasks that were missed while in training. Now, in conclusion, training has little value until participants actually transfer and apply what they learned in their work. Transfer is not the end result. To be successful, it must ultimately lead to improved and organizational performance. It should be borne in mind that transfer is not accomplished with equal facility or in equal amounts by all individuals. It depends on one's ability to generalize experiences and perceive relations between two situations. All right, now I will say something briefly, and that will be all for this section. Like I said, let me ask, how many of us at this point, from Monday to now, is there anyone in this class that has started having mind on certain proposals to develop? Is there anyone that is already having some target organizations in mind and you've already started drafting topics you want to send to them? Anyone like that? If there's anyone like that, please kindly type forward in the chat room. You have been well motivated towards, please don't type 1 if you are not in that category. As this learning has been going on, you have been well motivated towards drafting proposals, towards certain organizations have already started coming to your mind. You started evaluating yourself on certain skills. You think, oh, I think I can even develop this into a course and transfer to some people. If you're in that category, just type 1 in the chat room. Okay, so there are quite a number of people who are already in that category. Now, everyone here, apart from your micro facilitation, before this time, next week Friday, we expect everyone to send us their post-learning action plan. Post-learning action plan. That's to say, what do you want to achieve with all of this? And what role do you expect us to play in helping you achieve all of this? You've learned. Now tell us how you intend to apply them. And then by telling us that, also tell us how you want us to support you. Okay? That's very, very important. That's your post-learning plan. By the time you're coming for level 2, we expect you to be a practitioner of everything you've learned. If you don't have any proof of training conducted, if you don't have any proof of consulting conducted, we will not allow you to go to level 2. We must have proof. We must see that, yes, you've been able to apply before we go. It's okay, continue from where you stop. If there is no proof, I tell you the truth and I lie not, we will not admit you. One of the criteria for going to level 2 is that you must have evidence of practice. So before Friday next week, on the Google Classroom, draft your plan, post-learning plan, which is going to comprise of the things you've learned, the major areas you've built competencies, how you want to apply them, and then how you want us to help you. Did you get what I'm trying to say now? It's a very simple thing. You've learned a lot from beginning to the end. You've learned training proposal development. You've learned training evaluation. You've learned what else? Training methodologies, training administration, transfer of learning. And we're still learning more. No, we've learned up to 11 courses. Psychology of adult learning. How people learn. Learning, training is at their head, curriculum design. So we've learned a lot. So all of these things you've learned, give us a learner post-learning action plan. What you intend to do with all of this and how you want us to help you. Because after this training, we are no longer your trainer. We are now becoming co-facilitators. Please, I want you to know that too. After this training, we are no longer your trainer. We are now co-facilitators. We are now partners. Okay, we are now faculty members. And we need to see your progression plan, how you want to go. You must have evidence of practice before you are accommodated, even if it's only one person in level 2 that has evidence of practice. Please note, the evidence of practice is going to be after this date, not before this date. Oh, please note, evidence of practice is not before you came to class. It's after these sections that you learned. Evidence of practice afterwards. So if you are going to be training organization, after you're done, tell them to give you a testimonial or recommendation, a letter that yes, you did so training for them, you did so whatever for them. Is that they send you a mail or saying that, or they give you a letter? Because we need to see those things before you progress to the advanced level. Hope we are together. Hope we are together. And between now and April, we expect that you would have consecutively developed and submitted at least 5 training proposals. Between now and, let's say April, sorry, between now and March, you would have developed and submitted at least 5 proposals. Is it that you're developing and submitting, or you're developing for those who came to you? Now, there's something I want you to do, very, very important. After this class, go back to your LinkedIn profile and put all of the activities that you can provide, all of the services. So one of the services should be training proposal development, training administrator, curriculum developer. Put all those things there so that people can see. Then also put there that you are a certified associate training and development professional, so that they will see. Put that in your Facebook profile, put that in your on your LinkedIn, and begin to market yourself by whatever way you want. Okay. Okay. Someone is asking, say, could the training be pro bono? As pro bono, of course. It's your strategy that you use. If you want to use pro bono, why not? Okay. Now, do I have any question? Do I have any contribution before we go to the next section? Any question, any contribution? I saw Barrister Iroro's hand up before. Any question, any contribution before we move to the next one? Any question, any contribution? Any question, any contribution? Okay, let me also quickly say this. For all of us that are coming into IPM faculty, conditions remain that number 1, you must be a member of IPM, you must have been certified in a program course with IPM, and you must be a training and development professional. You must be a certified training and development professional. So you must be a certified member, a member of IPM. You must be certified in a course of choice, okay, with IPM, and then you must be certified in training and development. So those are the three prerequisites. I don't think there's any other information that we'll have to see on that. Okay, any question, any contribution before we move to the next one? Now, group one, are you ready for our presentation? Group one, are you ready for our presentation? Group one, are you ready now? Group one, are you still not ready? What is good? Okay, so Trustlin said they can do something now. So Trustlin, we are making you a co-host. You can go ahead and share your screen. First of all, unmute so that we can be hearing you. Please, immediately after group one finish their presentation, group two will come in for their presentations. Trustlin, are you there? Hello, Trustlin.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please kindly go ahead.
I'm trying to share my slide.
Okay.
If I can. Okay. People should give me a minute, please.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Are you there?
I'm here. Oh, I'm finding it difficult to share my. Don't know what's happening to my.
Are you in the same group with Mahesho?
No.
All right.
Can you see my slide? No.
And I'm only seeing my own.
Oh.
Are you seeing her slide? She can actually stop my sharing. She's a co-host. So I've stopped my own sharing. Oh yeah, go ahead and share. Okay, so while group 1 is trying to come up with something, group 2, are you ready? Maybe we'll take group 2 before to the Google Classroom. Group 2, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, so group 2, if you're ready, please kindly go ahead.
Okay. Let me just switch to laptop, please.
Okay. And group 3, I know you're ready. So to the Google Classroom. However, even if you send us your work to our Google Classroom or email, you still need to share it from your own end. We want to evaluate your own use. So Trustly, we are seeing your screen now. So which one? Okay, among the two, who is ready?
To continue. I was supposed to do something on that.
Please, if you're ready, just go ahead. I think one of your devices need to be muted.
Okay, yes, I will do that.
Okay, so someone is requesting for an assistance on how to upload on Google Classroom. Let's review that again. Now, when you go to the Google Classroom, if you can see my screen. So this is your Google Classroom. You basically go to the stream. When you get to the stream is where all the information is being shared. So you go to announce something to your class. When you click on it to type something, you will see the upload button there. Engineering Feta, are you seeing the upload button? So you can upload on Google Drive, but we don't want it on Google Drive. Just upload it straight to the classroom. You can also upload it by linking it to another source, or if it's a video, you can upload it here, like a YouTube link. All right. Thank you, sir. So anybody ready? Group 1, group 2?
Who is ready?
All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay, please please enable me to share screen.
Please, is my screen not showing?
Your screen has traveled. It's not showing.
Exactly.
Okay. So, Prof, your screen is, you've been made a co-host on 2 of your devices, anyone you wish to use.
Yes, I've exited in the other one so that I can use this. Thank you.
Okay, we are seeing your screen, but it's not on PowerPoint. It's on
Yes.
Microsoft Word.
Sorry, too many things open. I'm trying to close them now so that I can. Okay. Thank you. Can you see the use of?
We are only seeing the Microsoft Word document. No matter your successful PowerPoint depend on 3 main factors.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Let me go to.
I know everybody knows that today is your day, not our day.
Yes. So.
So if you want to take all the time, and also know that we are recording this, so if you're watching the record and you now see 20 minutes gap, nobody saying anything, know that it is your day.
That's serious.
Oh, God. My assignment today, or our assignment today, is to supervise. That's all.
Yes. Please, can you see the?
Yes, we can see now. Once we were blind, now we can see.
That's the use of Microsoft PowerPoint to make presentation.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Thank you. Let me just confirm from the other thing. So thank you, the director of program and co-participants. I'm here to present on the use of PowerPoint to make presentation, and I'm standing on behalf of the entire group 2. Please, can you all see my screen?
Yes, from Abuja, we can see your screen.
Okay, and okay, thank you very much. So the use of Microsoft PowerPoint to make presentation by the IPM Training and Development Group 2. So we have the learning objectives. At the end of this training, participants will specifically be able to start a blank presentation, type text into title slide, insert more slides, add content to slide, change the design, add animation, save PowerPoint, change the slide. In other words, importantly, ability to prepare PowerPoint and use it to make presentation. That is the subject of our discussion. And
you have 5 minutes. So by 10:59, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, sir. So the use of PowerPoint is of great advantage to presentations. PowerPoint gives you the ability to create a powerful visual aid that can help make your presentation the best. So this presentation will make attempt to explain how to use the Microsoft PowerPoint. So importantly, it is advisable that the content is first created possibly on Word document or directly on or be typing via bullet on the slide. But when you start a new PowerPoint file, you can either create a blank presentation or a template. With Microsoft PowerPoint, you have templates that you can edit to your taste. So I'll be using some slides to make example, to basic concept and definition, what PowerPoint is. That's what you have. The definition there is a presentation software that enables a user to create powerful presentation. And then what's the presentation? We have had that in the course of this our training, what presentation is all about, and is like a frame in a presentation that represents data, and during presentation, slides are displayed. So starting a PowerPoint, as you can see on the screen, to start a PowerPoint, you select Start, go to PowerPoint menu, select Start, Program, Microsoft PowerPoint command. Then on that, you see some toolbars, some title bar, menu bar, just to guide what is there. So we have the arrows, selected arrows there, showing or indicating the various aspects of things or to note in the use of PowerPoint. So the other subsequent slides, I try to explain what title bar, menu bar, toolbar, task pane bar, and others, what they are all about. So opening an existing presentation, for adventure, you already have it. So going to your computer, through your from the program, then if you have saved the document, select the document as you can find on the screen. Then, so whatever you have there, so if you want to edit, but importantly, for a new user creating new presentation for that slide, so to create new presentation, go to select file, then open the command, then you can add select new presentation. So you have options to either pick blank presentation or from design template, and then thereafter. So you can go ahead using the design template, the slide layout you want. Is it a blank one? Is it the one with double content, the one with graphic, the one with header alone? So select, and then depending on what you want to create, that will determine the type of layout you want to have. Then followed by creating new presentation, the other slide. So you now decide on your content layout, the text layout. You can begin to play around them using the font size and what have you. So the action while creating a PowerPoint presentation, the PowerPoint template are already predefined the format, which you may decide to use the fonts or slide background you want. So once you select a template, depending on the purpose and audience of the presentation, then with the template, you can provide consistent format. So then when you apply a design template to an existing document, or what you are, when you apply a design template to an existing presentation PowerPoint, it automatically update the text, size, and graphics and color. So I have more to say, but because of the time, we have in the PowerPoint, it's so flexible that once you understand the importance of the toolbar, title bar, all those design, you can create what you like, and eventually, having gotten what you have liked, you can check on the slide display if you are satisfied with what you are seeing. If not, you can go and modify. And so once you modify, you can save your presentation like normally the way you save Word document. You just save. If you want to save in your document, save with the title you want, and then it can be your dialogue. You can then close the presentation. Now using it, working with presentation. Once you have had a presentation, when it is time to make presentation at whether during your seminar or workshop, or already what you have saved, you can bring out to display during the presentation. And mind us that PowerPoint presentation makes your work, make your audience to follow you, then it makes it very interactive and interesting, even whether to the children, adolescent, adults, or whichever age. Once you make it friendly, it makes it very interactive. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, Prof, you could actually have been working in a television, because In 5 minutes, you moved to 26 out of 64 slides. That means if we give you 15 minutes now, you'll finish this thing. All right, thank you so much for that wonderful section on the use of PowerPoint. And thank you for making it elaborate. You didn't just go and do 2-3 pages, but you had a whole 64 pages. That's wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
Now, the content of what Prof has presented on behalf of Group 2 is essential for everyone in this class. So if you don't know how to use PowerPoint, please kindly make the download. He has already uploaded the download in the Google Classroom, so you can kindly download it and then go through it intensively so that you can know how to use it. Now, I will have to repeat again that just like he said, PowerPoint, use of PowerPoint cannot be overemphasized if you're a trainer, if you're a lecturer, if you're a teacher, if you are a learning and development administrator, if you're a learning transfer person, you must pay attention to the use of PowerPoint. All right. Now, among the things that PowerPoint does is that, if well used, can make your class engaging. If well used, can make your class interactive. It can add new flavor to your class, and it will enhance learning. Okay, that's very, very important. So I will recommend everyone here to download this. But Prof, let me quickly go to your title page. Can we go to the title page?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, from the title page, there is something I would like us to notice. If you notice, though, yes, this was a PowerPoint presentation, but it was not projected.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it was not projected.
Oh, it's true. It should have been slide presentation.
And you go to slideshow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. To slideshow. Thank you, sir.
You go to slideshow.
Yes. Thank you for that. Yes.
Let's go to 2. Okay, let's shoot it so that we can all be seeing it in a shooted version. Or in a short version. All right. That's beautiful. That's lovely. So you see the whole difference?
Yes.
You've actually escaped it again, so you have to shoot it again.
Sorry.
So see how lovely it's looking, how beautiful it's looking. Now let's move to the second page. The learning objectives. Now, if we look at these learning objectives, they are all wonderful, but they are too many on a page.
Okay, sir.
We say it shouldn't be more than 6 in a page.
Okay,
so
sir.
We can move the next ones to another page. All we need to do is that in the next page, we'll now say learning objectives continued.
Continue. Okay, sir. Noted, sir.
Even if it's 100
objectives.
Continue, yes, content objective. We'll keep saying continued.
Yes, sir.
You just have to say continued 1, continued 2, continued
yes, sir.
3.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for that, sir.
Move forward. And please, I'm just making these corrections now for the sake of micro facilitation. Please keep moving forward, sir. Keep moving forward. Move to where you have picture ahead. Now, just stop here. No, to the picture. Back, yeah. Okay, so if you look at this picture, you find out that this picture has relevance to what is being taught. By looking at the picture, you can even carry out the assignment you're asked to do on developing a slide. So it has a complete interpretation of the whole lecture. Even if there is no other slide, this picture alone had given us everything we want to know about the use of PowerPoint.
Yes, sir.
So in the same vein, when we are using pictures in our micro facilitation, please let it be reflective of the knowledge, the information we want to pass across. Okay. Now, this picture does not only show you that this is how PowerPoint looks, it also serves as a guide on the use of PowerPoint. the arrows telling you, okay, this is what this is what that is, this is what it is. So if they say click on this, now you already know where you're going to click. All right, so it's simple and straight to the point. All right. But let's go back to the learning objectives.
Yes, sir.
Let's go back to the learning objectives. You see, this learning objective, while is good, but if we are, let's assume for a category of people we are training now, if we say at the end of this session, participants will be able to start a blank presentation, type test into title slide, insert more slides and all of that. It's looking like a low-level objective.
Okay.
No, please remember, I'm not saying what you did. For some people, this is perfect because they don't even know anything about PowerPoint. For those who don't know anything about PowerPoint, this is perfect.
Yes, sir.
But for some people who they know that, okay, PowerPoint is used for this, PowerPoint is used for that. If we start telling them that it's about opening blank presentation, typing test, inserting test, and all of that, it might be a low-level presentation. Sorry, a low-level objective.
Okay.
All right. So our objective should have in mind the caliber of people we are dealing with. Okay. But let's assume we say by the end of this session, participants will be able to create PowerPoint slides.
Okay.
That's a high level.
Okay.
Obviously, you know, in the high level, they will know how to start blank page, type test, insert pages, insert objects, insert videos, and all of that.
Okay.
We can also say by the end of the session, participants will be able to review.
Okay.
Or perhaps they'll be able to demonstrate the use of PowerPoint.
Okay.
That's for this category of people we're having in class now. This kind of objectives can attract them.
Okay.
Now, let's assume we can also, by the end of this, participants will be able to use PowerPoint to develop study guides.
Okay.
Or instructional study materials. Is it this for them? Yes, that's their area. That's what they do every day. So it will motivate them. All right. But by the way, the work that has been done is excellent. So for level 2, we will give you 5. No, let's give you 3. I reserve 2 for your micro presentations.
Okay, sir.
So we'll give you 3 Boza. So
Thank
everybody in that room, can we give group 2 3 Boza? Give them good Boza. Don't give them shorthand Boza, or give them long Boza.
Thank you all for behalf of group 2.
All right, thank you so much, sir. That's a wonderful work. Once again, I recommend that everyone downloads this and then go through it. That's if you have issues with the use of PowerPoint, please download and then go through it. It's a practical workbook, like you can see. Okay, it's not as though it's history of PowerPoint. It's a practical workbook on the use of PowerPoint. So they were able to capture what we asked them to. Please, you can help me. Please, another thing we want you to learn today, or not today, that today is flexing day. So as it is now, we're already taking our tea. Please feel free to take yours as well. So before you know it now, we'll take our food. Before you know it, we take our which other one we'll take. All right, thank you so much. All right, so group 1, are you ready now? Is it only one person that is giving group 2 Boza? I say everybody give them Boza. Give them Boza in the chat room. There's only one person that is even giving them Boza. Translate, are you ready? Is there any challenge somewhere? I heard Translate's voice now. Okay, so you're ready, but this is looking like Microsoft Word. This is not PowerPoint. And to translate, this is not PowerPoint. Is this PowerPoint?
Sir, hello.
Yes. Is this PowerPoint?
It's PowerPoint. I
okay,
yes.
Okay.
I had to do
All right.
something quickly.
Right. Go ahead then.
Okay, so we are asked to do a budget for the training that Group 2 just did.
Yes.
So this is the cover letter to our head of school. From the cover letter is from the HR, because the HR is in charge of the training. Then to the head of school, that's the date. So the subject is budget for a one-day training of 5 mid-management staff on use of PowerPoint applications to work. So there, would those please find out the breakdown of the budget, the HR signed, and move it to the head of school to sign. So this is the breakdown. This is the budget for one-day training of management staff of IIPM on PowerPoint presentation. So this is the cost items, the unit cost, and the total costs. Am I on?
Yes, you're on. Go ahead.
Okay. So the first thing is the training venue. We got the training venue because they are middle management staff. We got the training venue of 150K. The training, the 150K includes styling the place and other things to make the venue conducive, the AC, everything. So it's 150,000 for that one day. Then we have 2 facilitators that are coming to train our middle management staff on how to use PowerPoint presentations, to do presentations. So each of the facilitators, they ask for 200,000. So it's 400,000 after the negotiation. Then the transport, because this 200,000 covers for their everything about them, but we need to move them from where they are coming to the hotel room. So we need to use our office car to move them. So that we need to fuel the company's vehicle with 15,000. Then other logistics that could come around, you know, carrying them, making them to settle and other things. So that one is 10,000. Then the laptop, because we need to get 5 laptops. We didn't have to buy. We just hired 5 laptops and gave to our mid-management staff to use. So each hire costs is 25,000. So for the 5, it's 125,000. Then we also hired projector and projector screen at the cost of 10,000. Then 2 mics so that they can be able to hear the facilitators. It's 3,000 per one, so 2 is 6,000. The refreshment, the food, drinks for the 5 trainees, 2 facilitators and the coordinator is 6,000 per person. That's 48,000. Sorry. Then refreshments and food for our support staff who helped us in arranging the venue and other things. Their food is also at 6,000, so 12,000 for the 2 of them. Then communications, we have to make calls. Then we have to install internet facilities so that we won't be under pressure when they are training them. So that one is 10,000. Then stationery and other materials for our 5 participants is 5,000 naira. So at for each of them, total is 25,000. At the end of the day, we got 811,000. We included VAT, 7.5%. That is which is 81,100. So the total cost is 892,100. So we're asking approval for our head of school to allow us to facilitate, to coordinate, to plan the program. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Roslyn. That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. Group 1, well done work. So with what you've done now, you've shown us what the possible elements of a training budget should look like. Yes. Now let's all review this together and see if there is something that needs to be added. I must comment on the fact that you needed to add VAT. That was very, very welcome. Now, in some occasions, if you are running some contracts, you may also be required to add 1% stamp duty. Stamp duty. In some occasions, even the VAT we added, we add the VAT, but when you get to the negotiation, sometimes we now have to eliminate the VAT. But this is really a standard. What you have here is a standard. So now quickly, let's look at it. Any contribution, any comment? Contribution, comments. Now, all of us, let's look at it. Is there something that needs to be added to this budget or to this format, or something that needs to be removed or reviewed? Please, we are all together.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir. May I suggest too, in since of course this is a budget, if they are sending it out to organization, it could have the what's the name now? Raising a I want to remember the terminology used for it, so that it will show the logo of the organization raising the
like a cover letter.
Okay, anyway, with the cover letter, that are okay. The cover letter already caters for that. Then that's
okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's look at this and then find out if there is something that needs to be added or something that needs to be removed. Any person that has, say, usually from May, say usually standard locations venue come with some adults like projectors, mics. Okay, you may not necessarily need to rent, but thinking this one doesn't. But thinking this one doesn't. Okay, so maybe this particular venue doesn't have projector or mics and the like, so maybe they have to rent. More contributions. Are we all in this class together? I would say today is a what they call that.
Sir, please, I need that tea.
I'm sending it now. Connect it in the chat room. Please, well. Are we all together here? Remember, today is your day. Me, my own today is to guide. Okay, let's look at this table. Let's be sure that everyone is together. If you can hear me loud and clear, please type one in the chat room. If you can hear me loud and clear, please do not. It's good. I'm only seeing a few people typing one. And some people are watching us flex. We are listening to you as they are flexing. Okay. From my observation, some people are not in this class. They just signed in, but they are not in this class. We are 25, and the one we are receiving is not even up to 10. So some people are here, but not here. Okay. Be it as it may. Now, this proposal number one, look at the table. You have your serial number, you have your cost item, you have unit cost expressed in Naira. Then there should be usage. Before we have the total cost, there should be usage. Do you get that? There should be column for usage. So let's assume training venue, unit cost, usage, maybe in days. You have 1 day. Then the total cost would be unit cost multiplied by the usage. That will give us the total cost.
Yes.
That is one. If you're going to be using it, if the payment is going to be hours, you also indicate.
Okay.
And another thing is, remember we said miscellaneous expenses are not permitted. And miscellaneous is just like other expenses, other logistics. So we need to be specific. Now, you stated other logistics, yet you still mentioned laptop, projector hiring, communication, and all of that. So we need to be specific on the expenditure we are making. Okay, we need to be specific on the expenditure. Okay. All right, I think that's all I needed to point out. The usage, and then the miscellaneous or other logistics. Instead of saying other logistics, let's find out what these other logistics will be, and then put them and their usage, their unit cost, their usage, and then that's it. Any question for me on this? Please, with this, we have somewhat concluded training budgets, like all the things we'll be saying on training budget. This is what we want to see. When we say financial training budget, training proposal, financial, this is what we mean, or this is a template of what we mean. Okay, this is a template of what we mean. All right. Okay. And another wonderful thing also that I like here is that the training budget had a title. Budget for 1 day training of 5 management. So it has a title. Okay, it has a what? It has a title. It has quantity, 5 persons that we are training 1 day. Okay, so this is good example. Any question for me? If you have a question, if you have a contribution, please, you can raise your hand and do that. Okay, if there is no question, then we'll welcome group 3 for their own presentation. Group 3 is the in-class people. Okay. I was even thinking you're coming up here. Jason. Right.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hope you can see my screen. Okay. My name is Jason Babakwa here. I will be presenting on behalf of Group 3, the in-class people. Our topic is standards for developing instructional material with a particular focus on PowerPoint presentation. By the end of this training, it is expected that participants will be able to use PowerPoint slides efficiently and effectively as an instructional material during their training deliveries. Aside the regular cliched points about using PowerPoints, the ones that Dr. Benito has mentioned earlier when he was assessing Professor Taiwo's presentation, things like you should not clutter your presentation with a lot of points. You should make them as sparingly as possible, but let them flow, let them have a sequence of flow, and let them make sense. We have some few points that we also need to add here as it relates to your training presentation. The first one is for you to start your PowerPoint development with your learning objective. The first point on it should be, after the introduction, it should be the learning objective. You should ensure that the participants know what this training manual, the structure of the training manual should start with the learning objective. They should know that by the end of the training, they are expected to know so and so things. They are expected to have this so and so competencies, and also they are expected to know that there will be evaluation, there will be feedback, and that there will be assessment as the case may be. Another thing is that you should also know that the learning objective should have the following points. I mean, you should know who the audience are, and it should be clearly stated on the presentation. You should also know what the audience will want from the development stage, and also you should be able to have the information that they are going to learn from your presentation. Also, your presentation should have a flow of how they will maintain the knowledge that they will learn from the training, and also they should know how long the training will be, when it will be completed, that's the duration. Another one is to have the delivery method. You should know on your presentation should have all the delivery methods you're going to use. If you're going to use videos, for example, it should be clearly stated on your presentation slide that at this point you should be watching a video either on YouTube, or if the video is embedded in the presentation, you should play it. Also, you should decide on whether it's going to be a blended approach or it's going to be a single method, the lecture method, and all those methods should be clearly stated in the presentation slide. Another point is for the presentation to be segmented. The presentation, the flow should be segmented. You should have a introductory stage, you should have the main body of the presentation, the assessment stage, and also the feedback stage. And another one is for your presentation to have a quick reading. You should have quick listening, and you should have a quick watching elements. Everything there should be brief and concise.
One,
Be able to also cover as much as the information you want to pass out to your participants. And also, you should have a plan for the assessment. How do you want the assessments to be? Do you want it to be in a post-test format, or do you want them to have a written test at the end of the presentation? All those points should be embedded.
The most peaceful in a whole environment.
How do you want the feedback?
So,
How do you want the feedback? How do you want to assess the understanding of the participant from the training presentation? You should incorporate that feedback into your training manual, and you should make sure that it's clearly stated that this is the methodology you want to use to get this feedback. And in conclusion, you should know that PowerPoint is a good instructional material, and that it can increase the effectiveness and efficiency of presentations during almost most training presentations, and is highly recommended as an instructional material. Thank you, and this is our presentation from Group 3.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Great presentation. We didn't give Group 1 any buzzer. So can we give Group 1 and Group 2, Group 3 their own buzzer? They did well. Buzzer. So that has been wonderful. It has been a beautiful work. Mr. Jason, can you please put the slide on so that we can review it together? Let's review together. Yes. Now, let's start from the topic. The topic says standards for developing instructional materials. Standards for developing instructional material. That means guidelines, formats. So let's go to the objective. He said at the end of the training, participants will be able to use PowerPoint slides efficiently and effectively as instructional. This person that is interrupting my class, I will soon interrupt you now. Please, men and brethren, kindly mute your mic. May.
Okay.
Okay. So he said participants will be able to use. So it is level group 2, their own is application of PowerPoint. So if they say by the end of this session, participants will be able to use PowerPoint, that's understandable because they are to teach us how to use PowerPoint. But your own is to provide us with the guideline on how to use PowerPoint. So this learning objective is a little different from, but if you say something like at the end of this session, participants will be able to enumerate the standards in using PowerPoint. they should be able to discuss the standards in the use of PowerPoint. It will be easier for us. If you look at all that has been done here, you didn't teach us how to use PowerPoint. You only told us the standards that should apply when using PowerPoint. So with what that have been done, we cannot, nobody here can even open a blank space in PowerPoint. So that objective will be reviewed. Okay. And please, let's go to the next slide. Now, when it comes to PowerPoint or usage, for instance, development of instructional materials using PowerPoint as a case study, we must understand the place of grammatical functions. Grammatical functions. Please, everybody listen. Grammatical functions. For instance, you don't put full stop and continue. If you put full stop, then the next point should be bulleted. That's why we call it PowerPoint. We bullet the point. You don't have, maybe you have PowerPoint is used for presentation, full stop. Then we now continue. PowerPoint is used for development of study materials. We continue. After full stop, you bring down the next point. You don't continue after full stop. So if you look at what we have, you say you might think the answer is obvious, but it is imperative to identify your exact goals. Full stop. So we are supposed to bring the other one down now. This should be explicitly reflected on your presentation. Like simple. We can, anywhere we see full stop, the next one beginning considered as a point. Okay. All right. Then the same thing applies when it comes to the use of colon and semicolon. When it comes to colon and semicolon, if you're using a colon, that means you want to tell us, okay, let's say the uses of PowerPoint is as follows, colon, right? So the point should be listed. Now, if you're using a colon to talk about something, for each point that you give, you use a semicolon at the end. So let's assume you say, the use of PowerPoint can be applied in the following areas. Semicolon, colon. Point 1, presentation, you now have semicolon. Development of instructional material, semicolon. Before you go to the last one, you now put and the last one. After the last one, you put full stop. Hope we are together. So these are just simple formats that are to be used. However, where there might be altercations in the use of PowerPoint as regards to standard, because when you go to maybe project defense, some institutions have their own format. They may say, okay, use Arial black or Arial font for a presentation. So we say use Times New Roman. Some may say use 32. So we say use 24. So we say use 40 something. So the standard should be based according to the objective in place, the work in place. All right, the objective, the standards when it comes to font size, font type, spacing, and all of that will be based on the organization, the objective of what is being achieved at the moment. All right. Okay, so that's all I could say for now regarding group 2, group 3. Although group 3, did we mention anything on animation? Okay. On also the use of animation, we said that before that animation shouldn't be distracting. Okay, animations shouldn't be distracting. It shouldn't distract the audience. Okay, shouldn't distract the audience. All right. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, do I have any question or contribution so far? Any question or contribution so far? Okay, so I'll only review one or two things, especially from the IT part of it. That's, we've talked about PowerPoint, all right? And there has been an extensive material developed for the use of PowerPoint. But let me quickly give us some little tips on the use of Zoom or the use of virtual virtual tools like Zoom. So we use Zoom as a case study. Okay. We have different tools you can use for your virtual experience. Apart from Zoom, can anyone help us mention some of them? So you have Microsoft Teams. Somebody say Microsoft Teams.
You have Google Meet.
Google Meet, okay.
You have Zoho.
Zoho.
And WebEx.
WebEx, okay. Is it? Glow. Zoho collaborations, yeah. Okay, any other one? YouTube, yeah, that's wonderful.
Telegram, you can do Telegram video.
Telegram video, thank you. WhatsApp video, okay, thank you. Okay, so we are looking for more the virtual tools that can be used. The virtual tools that can be used for e-learning. Which ones do you know? Which ones are you conversant with? Someone has mentioned Zoho collaborations. Someone mentioned YouTube. Another one mentioned Telegram video. Another one mentioned Microsoft Teams. And Zoom. We have Zoom. Okay. Okay. What are your experiences? Which other ones do you use? Google Classroom. Thank you. That's awesome. Okay, so when you cite the internet, you actually see hundreds of them. You have even Instagram, you can use Instagram, you can use Facebook, you can use LinkedIn, virtually all social media platforms, WhatsApp, you can use any of them. But the question is, what makes Zoom like one of the most prevalent, the most used? Okay. With Zoom, you can be able to share, you can be able to record, you can be able to transmit to other platforms. To some people, it's easier to use for them. Okay. Collaboration is easier. Okay. And perhaps maybe the cost of use is also cheaper. Okay. All right. So quickly, let's look at how to use Zoom. I know all of us know how to use Zoom, but I will only add one or two things to it. Now, what are the things you need to have a good Zoom experience? What are the things you need to have a good Zoom experience? What are the things you need to have a good Zoom experience? From there, he said it's just popularity with Zoom. You can use Google Meet for the same functions. Okay. Yes, you can use Google Meet for the same functions. But before you use Google Meet for the same functions, you would have upgraded as an educational service provider. Okay, Google Meet on default does not transmit, does not record. Okay, but when you upgrade as an educational service provider, then you can be able to record and then you can be able to transmit. Okay, what are the things you need to have good experience with your Zoom? Even if it's not Zoom, any other virtual platform that you use for learning, what are the things you need? Learning support. Okay, internet support. All right, somebody say internet. Thank you. What other things do you need?
You need also to master the functionalities of Zoom.
You need to master the functionality. Okay.
How to create breakout rooms.
Okay.
How to do opinion polls.
Okay.
And basically how to also ensure protection, security, how to put security, how to know who to let you.
Okay. Okay. So someone say you have to have function of the know-how. Okay. Someone says laptop or good device. Okay, laptop or good device. May say, yeah, the premium service of Google Meet covers all Zoom functions. Yeah, that's the premium. But on default, Zoom gives you everything whether you're premium or not. The only thing is that you have only 40 minutes. Okay. Okay, someone say technical know-how. And what other things do you need? I'm looking at the chat room. I'm looking at the chat room. Okay, apart from the technical, what they call it now, compatibility with any laptop or use device you use. Okay, so apart from the laptop, the internet support, the technical know-how, among other things we also need is that you need a good environment. You need to be sure of your environment when you're using Zoom to avoid noise. One thing with Zoom is that Zoom helps you to filter your sound. If you use, please note that we are not doing, we're only doing comparison, not that we are selling one or not selling one. No. If you're using Google Meet, it captures every information or every noise, whether you want it or you don't want it, and it amplifies it. Google Meet can capture noise about up to 30 meters away from you. So as I'm in this class now, the road, the car passing by the roadside, if you're using Google Meet, you hear all of the sound. Okay, so the environment that you're going to use matters a lot. Now, another important thing, very, very important, is your camera. Your camera. Not all systems have good camera functions. In fact, not all systems even have webcam. Okay, so sometimes it's advisable that if you're going to set a Zoom studio, a complete Zoom studio, then you may have to need an external camera. So you have those ones they call the Logitech cameras. You could buy one and then put it where you want it to be. Okay, if you're running conferences, then you need a full-blown camera, your hand camera, okay, the HD cameras and all of that. And then you now need to have a mixer, okay, for your microphones. Okay, so another thing you need then is microphones, amplifiers and microphones, all right? Another important thing you need, while we talk about the environment as regards to noise and all of that, there's also what we call background. Background. Now, if you're going to use a Zoom studio, if you're going to have a complete Zoom studio, your background is expected to be green. Like the background where you're staying is expected to be green. Okay, they call it a green background. Okay, so your background is expected to be green. Now, the essence of the green background is that it allows you to show the virtual background of Zoom. The background you're seeing now is just the background of the office, right? Or the background of the training environment we are using. Now, if we want to use a virtual background that is not real, I have to have all this place colored green so that when I put the background, it won't be affecting the color. Okay, if you use a background that is not green, when you move, it will now be showing the actual background you're staying. You'll be having all those shadow effects and all of that. Okay, so if you want to have a full-blown Zoom studio, then you need to have a green background. Is there something else I need to tell you? For the mics you use, it's recommended that you use what we call a boom mic. Boom. A boom mic is better off. A boom mic, you can it can pick information 5 to 10 meters away from you. Okay, you can, especially when you have much people in the environment. Maybe if it's a classroom, you don't want to have different people having different mic. You can just have one boom mic. You can suspend it in the air. You can keep it in a location where if anybody speaks, the boom mic picks it and then transmits it to the people in the environment. Okay, so do I have anyone that did not get all of these things I said now? Because some of us, when we say Zoom, it's more of you come join the Zoom meeting and then you go on, right? But when you're the one using the Zoom, you are the trainer that is to use the Zoom. That's what we're telling you now, the things you're possibly going to use. There was a particular time somebody asked me, said, this background you're using, why don't you send it to every of the IPM faculties? I think that was during COVID. Okay, so I had to create a Zoom video studio rather in my house. So I had to call a carpenter to put all the green whatsoever and make sure everywhere was well green, and then put noise proof, make the doors noise proof and all of that to avoid noise filtering into the system. So if you're the one trying to use Zoom to administer training, all of these things or most of these things need to be in place. If you're using it for conference, please listen. If you're using it for conference, like the one we had in December, then you need to have a video, a hand video, a HD camera video, okay? Not just a HD camera video, you need to have one at least from 4K up. If not, if you use anything less than 4K, the visuals will be very blurred to the people watching it, all right? Then you need your MISA, you need your video capture card, you need your, sorry? What? No, you don't need green background if it's a conference. Everybody needs to see everyone. But if you want a studio in your own closet, then you need a green background. Okay, so these are some of the things you require. So in case you want to have an online platform where you now train people and all of that, these are some of the things you need to put in place so that when you are presenting, you get to look professionally represented in the things you're doing. Do I have any question, or is there something I omitted? Obviously, there would have been things omitted. Is there something you would like to remind us of? Please let us know. If there's something you would like to remind us of, let us know. Okay, so I will assume that we are on the same path. Now, apart from the things mentioned, is another thing to now have the technical know-how or the use of Zoom. First, for you to use Zoom, you have to create an account on Zoom. That's I'm talking about it on the perspective of the trainer. You want to use Zoom to administer. If you are the student, you don't really need to register. You can just use the link and enter and go. After the training, you're off, all right? But if you are the trainer or the training organization that wishes to use Zoom, then you must have an account with them. They have the free account, and then they have paid accounts. You make your subscription according to the services you want to enjoy from Zoom, all right? Okay, so number one, you must have an account, whether it's free account or paid account, it all depends on you, all right? Now, when it comes to technical know-hows, because from what I'm seeing now, we may have to have a schedule to teach extensively on the use of Zoom. Okay. When it comes to technical know-how, you need to learn how to create your meetings so as to get your meeting links. And it is a simple process. So we are going to go through that now. Or perhaps before I go through that, let me be sure. Is there anyone here who, or perhaps are there people here who are not used to Zoom? You don't really use Zoom. You have not created, you've never created a meeting on Zoom before. I'm not saying attend. You've never created a meeting on Zoom before. Is there anyone like that? If there's anyone like that, kindly type 00 in the chat room. You've never created, you've been attending Zoom meetings, but you've never created a meeting or a class on Zoom, so you don't even know what it looks like. Is there anyone like that? Okay, so someone says yes. Is there only one person? Every other person has. Okay. Okay, so for the sake of the people that needs to be their first experience with Zoom. Now, when you come to Zoom, that's zoom.us, zoom.us. You will basically see this kind of information. Why this is like this is because I am signed in. Now, if you're not signed in, it will show you sign in. Okay, if you're not signed in, it will show you sign. So let's sign out and see. Now, if I sign out, you see signing. If you are not, you've not created an account on Zoom before, then you may need to sign up, which is free. All you need to do is to provide your name, your details, and that's all. Okay, your name, your details, the details as they ask. So as you can see, they will ask you your date of birth. You confirm, go continue. Other things asked at the end of the day, they will send you an email, you verify, and that's just it, right? Now, when you have done all that, then you'll be required to sign in. When you sign in, this is what it looks like. Now, in Zoom, there are different things you can use Zoom for. You can use Zoom for personal meeting. You can use Zoom for webinars. You can use Zoom for non-personal meetings, like classes, conferences, and all of that. Now, what's the difference between webinar and other formats? A webinar most often is like a push kind of system. So the speaker keeps speaking, but the participants most often don't have the capacity to speak, but they can type in the chat room and say one or two things. But for a collaborative session as we are having, the speaker can speak, the learner can speak, the speaker can type, the learner can type. All right. So if you want to set webinar, you have webinars here. You have meetings, you have webinars, personal contact, recording settings. So all of these things, anyone you click on, you have the information to fill there. Then you have your profile also. For those of us using personal information, it's recommended that you have your picture. That's why if you see in the class, some people on their handle, when they are talking, you see their pictures, is because they are registered on Zoom. Then you see some people, when they are talking, it's only their name you will see. Most probably they are not registered on Zoom, they only registered for this class. So if you're registered on Zoom, is a requisite of you to use professional pictures or pictures that depict your personality and your person, right? And that is done in the place you see the IPM logo. So you click on it and change it to what you want it to be, and then fill other information as required. Okay, other information, you will fill all of them as required. Then as soon as you register, you have your personal link. Any day, anytime you want to have a personal meeting, maybe a personal call, you will send it to someone and then start your call, and that's it. It's personal. It's only people you admit that can have access to that, your link. All right, it's just there. All right. Then every other thing will be done accordingly. All right, fill up every other thing accordingly. Okay. Now for your meetings, if you want to create a meeting, it's very simple. So if you look from here, this is actually the meeting that is ongoing now. So you see it's showing ongoing, like it's showing video sign of ongoing. So here I can join, and since I'm the one hosting it, I can also end it. If I end it, everybody goes home. All right, is it up to 12? We'll round up by 12 so that we'll round up very soon. Now, to schedule a meeting, when you come to meetings, you go to this area, you see schedule meetings. If you click on schedule meetings, it will ask you of the topic of the meeting, the description of the meeting. So you have topic of the meeting, description of the meeting. So if you want to add description, you click on it. So let's assume training and development, professionals workshop. I can write the description there. When is it starting? And what time? Okay, and date. The duration, is it 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours? You mentioned that. Then the time zone you want to use. If it's an international program, you want to use that program across countries. It's expected that you use, it's better that you use GMT related time so that you can easily say, okay, maybe GMT plus 1, all right? West African time is GMT plus 1. Some other countries could be GMT minus 1, GMT plus 2, GMT minus 2, GMT plus 3, GMT minus 3, as high as GMT minus 9 and plus 9. Okay, so whichever one you want, you can put it there. All right. If you're going to be in Ghana setting this program, you're possibly going to use GMT plus 0. That's all, because you're on the standard time for GMT. If you're in Kenya, you're possibly going to use GMT plus 2. Okay. Now, if the meeting is a recurring meeting, like the one we had from Monday to Friday, you click on recurring, and then how many days is going to reoccur? If it is 5 days, you put 5 days, and then state which day categorically it is going to end. You state the day. Okay. And that's it. Now, if the training requires registration, you want the people to register, you want to have a record of the people who registered. You click on registration required. If you want them to register once and then attend all of the programs, you just choose that. If you want other things to suffice, then you have that. Now, before September 2021, you can actually create a Zoom meeting without having to use a security code. You can create it without passcode. You can create it without people having to wait in the waiting room. But after September 2021, there was need for them to impute the security to avoid hacking into people's meetings, so that you can admit who you really want to be in the meeting, or the person will require to verify his or her meeting with you before joining. But as it is now, it's preferable to use waiting room, because if you want to use authentication, that means the person will have to register on Zoom, like go and register on Zoom before he can join your class. Okay. And then when it's coming in, other authentication also follows. Now, if you want the host to show on video, you can say on from the beginning, participants show video on from the beginning, then audio, is it from the telephone, is it from the computer audio, or both? Most often it's preferable you use both. So even if you're using mic, you can easily transmit. All right. And any other thing you want to do, allow participants to join 5 minutes before start time. If that's what you want, you leave it at that. If you want it to be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or any other time, you select accordingly. Mute participants upon entry. Now, for those of us that do classwork or do workshops, if you want to create classrooms as they are coming in, they should be pre-assigned to classrooms as they are coming in. Then you can create, you can click on the breakout sessions, then create the room that you want them to be. You create the rooms that you want them to be, and then pre-assign people to them. So as they are coming in, instead of coming to the general classroom, they are going to their class. Everybody's going to their classroom so that their teachers can teach them from there. Okay, let's take for instance, if in IPM we're having project management, HR management, and maybe training and development course at the same time. We can create 3 classes, the same link, but as you're coming, we are separating you to your class, to your own classroom, so that the teacher then can teach you accordingly. Okay, if you want the recording to be done automatically, every other information there is just basic understanding, and then after you're done, you click on save. When you click on save, you have your meeting link here. You see the meeting link there. You can copy the invitation and then send it out to people. All right, then you have your meeting link. You can copy it, just copy it, normal way we copy it, and then copy and send to whoever you want to be in the meeting. If you want to integrate this and join it to Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, or Yahoo Calendar, you're also permitted to do. Maybe you have people who are on Gmail, like we have Classroom, Google Classroom. We can work out a calendar on Google Classroom, then integrate it here. What this does is automatically, when the time for the lecture comes, automatically Google sends a reminder, or Outlook sends a reminder, or Yahoo sends a reminder to those people. So this, most of the times we'll do the work manually. Sometimes we need to automate it. And say, okay, training has started and all of that. You can do all of that automatically using Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, or Yahoo Calendar. All right, now before I proceed, is there something you will want me to tell you here again before I proceed? For the people that have never used this in creating a meeting before, with what I just showed now, can you create a meeting? Please, if you can create a meeting now, type 11 for those of us that are new to it. If you can create a meeting now, type 11. Engineer Feta and Mr. Ishmael, if you can create a meeting now, type 11. Let me see.
Daddy, you know that imam he will never come to you. You know. And Wadara was saying that
please, that imam that is coming to your place, tell him to join this class.
Am I unmuted? Sorry.
No, you're not unmuted, you're muted. So tell that imam, I tell that honey to join this class now.
Please, sorry.
Since you're dragging them into a class.
It's almost time to go to the mosque, sorry.
Oh my God. That is the impact of technology on transfer of learning. Okay. Oh my God. Okay.
Sir.
Now, someone want to say something? Honorable.
Yeah, Doctor. I'm still finding it difficult to upload my this thing on the Google Classroom.
You're finding it difficult to upload in the Google Classroom?
Yes, sir.
Is he telling you anything at all?
I'm not even seeing anything like something that will ask me to upload.
Okay.
Yes.
This is your Google Classroom, right? So when you click on the announce something to class, you will see that icon, upload file. So when you click on upload file, but you must type something before the post will be activated. So if you click on this, it will possibly get you to, not that possibly, it will get you to where you want to upload from. So if I want to upload, if I want, which one now? We've basically uploaded everything anyway. So I will click on what I want to upload and click open, and that's all.
I'll try it again, sir.
All right, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now, for those of us who have been on Zoom, now please pay attention to this side because this side is good for you. On Zoom, you can edit your emails. If you are on paid version, you can see all of these registrations and all of these things you see here. If you're not on paid version, you will not be able to, you only see registration, registrants. You won't see any other thing here, the options. Now, you can view your registrants, and then you can send them email, either personally or as a group. So if you're using Zoom, there's a possibility that you might not need an extra email service provider, because Zoom covers your email sending and all of that. And people are possibly going to respond more to the Zoom messages because they registered for it. And by registering for it, automatically, they are agreeing that, yes, you can send them message or reminders on this information or this meeting or workshop that is coming up, right? I will repeat that again. For those of us who are already in it, all right? When you come to this registration, you can go to view your registrants. Okay, let me give you an example with the one that we are currently running. So let's assume that I want to send a message to a particular person in this class. Let's assume those who have not been quite conversant. All I need to do is to click on this, click on my workshop, and then at the tail end, you will see the registrants. Okay, manage registrants. Then when I go to view, you see the number of people who registered via this line. They are supposed to be 27, but some people were trying to crash it, so we remove them. So let's assume I want to send message to who now? Can you imagine? Okay, let's assume I want to send message to Femi Ganduno. I will just click on Femi Ganduno, and then I will click on resend confirmation email or resend. This resend confirmation email, it can be the default email, or if I want to change the email, if I want to change the message, I will change the message first before I will resend to him. Okay. Now, if I want to change the message so that I can resend to him, I will go to email setting, and then I will go to confirmation email to registrants, send upon registration. Then I will edit this particular confirmation email. I will edit it to what I want. Now here I said meeting topic classroom is open now. Some of us saw this. This was not the default message, but we changed it to send to some people at a particular day. Now this meeting topic simply tells the person, if it is training and development workshop, it tells training and development workshop class is open now. If it is alumni meeting, you say alumni meeting is open now. Whatever be the topic you choose, then it will give the person default message as you see here, hello user and all of that. Then here you have the choice of changing the information to what you want. And after that, you save. What this means that anytime you are resending this out to people, they don't only see this information or the basic information, they also see the added information you have added. Okay, the one in the box. All right, the one in the box. And after you're done, you close this. Anytime you send this out, it sends both the basic information, the day, the time, and all of that, and then additional information that comes alongside with it. Okay. Then the next stage here is the stage of branding. Here is where you upload your, if it is flyer you want to upload, you upload. If it is logo you want to upload, if it is a banner, but note that there are standards to it. So anybody designing it has to follow the standard. Number one, it has to be a GIF, JPEG, or 24-bit PNG. Then the suggested dimension is 640 pixel by 200 pixel, or the maximum dimension of 1280 pixel by 400 pixel. That's for the banner that you want to post here. What this does is that if you put the banner and the person is receiving email from you, it shows the banner. Let's assume it's a project management workshop we're doing now. It will show project management flyer to the person, and then the other information that comes with it. The same thing, your logo will now show at either the right-hand side or the left-hand side or the middle of the email, depending on how you schedule that. And there are also standards there. Now, if you want to have pools, you can create your pools. You want to know you want to engage your prospective participant before the class or in the class or after the class, you can use pools. You create pools the way you want them. And then any pool you create, you send it out to them, they review and send to you. That keeps interactions. And then after the class, you take a survey, your feedback after the workshop or after the meeting, you can take a survey. So Zoom actually offers you a wide range of opportunities to get your presentation, to get your online feedback. All right. Then you can also stream on Facebook, YouTube. All right. You can also stream on Facebook or YouTube. If you have a Facebook page, you can stream it there. If you have a YouTube channel, you can stream it there. All you need to do is you go to, when you are presenting, you have the 3 dots where you see more. When you click on more, then you see stream live or live stream. When you click on it, you select the one you want, YouTube, Facebook, and other ones that come by. Just select and then link it with your Facebook or your YouTube. Now, there are certain things that people do when it comes to the use of Zoom. If you're using Zoom and you're expecting like 5,000 people and you don't have all the resources, all you could do is create the meeting on Zoom, but stream it on YouTube or Facebook. Facebook does not charge you, even if it's 1 million people that are viewing your work, they don't care. But for YouTube, you have, for Zoom, if it's beyond 100, you have to pay. If it's beyond 500, you have to pay. If it's beyond 1,000, you have to. So they give you different standards. So what some organizations do, especially those who are expecting large volume of people, maybe conferences, large auditorium programs like churches. Okay, there is no way you can bring everybody to Zoom, but you can use Zoom to stream your program on Facebook and on YouTube, and people will still think everybody was on Zoom. But the only difference there is that if you're streaming on YouTube, people can only make comments. They can't talk, except you admit them to the Zoom class. If you're streaming on Facebook, the same thing. They can only make comments. Okay, they can only make comments. They can only interact with you through text, not audio. All right. Okay, now, for those of us that have been using Zoom, have you learned something in this particular format? Have you learned something? If you've learned something new, if something new was added, please type 11. If nothing new was added, just type 00. If something new was added, type 11. If nothing new was added, just type 0. Let's know. Okay, thank you, Pastor Former. Okay, so since something new was added, then let's apply it. Now, on my last note, I think I've actually covered the use of Zoom. It's quite simple. However, like I said, I will still have an extensive training where we will come and teach on the use of Zoom, especially how to share your screen, how to record, how to have your records converted. Sometimes you record and it's not converted. How do you retrieve that? How do you record in the cloud, Zoom cloud? How do you record? You want to move into Google Drive, integrations with Dropbox and all of that. How do you do that? Okay, as to reduce cost of other subscriptions that we apply. So we will have time in another section to discuss all of this. That'll be wonderful. Now, at this juncture, men and brethren, thank you so much. If there is any question, please ask. If there is no question, then we will go on a break straight and we are returning by 1 p.m. Nigerian time or 12 noon Ghana time. Any other country, please note it is West African time we're using. So 1 p.m. West African time, you can calculate yours. So 1 p.m. we are returning. And then as soon as we return, we are starting with our presentation. Before 1, we are going to upload the sequence of presentation, who is coming first and the way it flows, so that everyone will know where they are. So we are doing it alphabetically. So if your name is from A, just start preparing to present first. If your name is Z, prepare to present last. But note, we are not coming back here tomorrow for whatsoever reason. All right, any question?
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, sir. We are arranging alphabetically. Some of us are in the mosque at that particular point in time. I don't know how we are going to do that, sir.
Okay. Okay, so what we'll do is that for those people who, see, that's where physical class is important now. You would have just collaborated with someone, a handover, they change your time. Okay, and your time is from 1:30 to 2:30, right?
Yes, sir.
But the prayer, I see that long. I thought it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you're done. Are you the imam?
Today is Friday. No, sir.
Are you the imam that Molara was talking about?
No, sir. I'm not the one, sir. Today is Friday, whereby lecture is part of the prayer. Okay. The other one can be 5 minutes or thereabout. What I'm just asking for is that I don't know if it's possible that we can do, somebody like me can do my own before the prayer, or I can come back after the prayer and do it.
Okay, so would you want to do before or after? Okay, I would recommend you do before so that when you go there, your mind will not be shaking.
Okay, sir.
So maybe after the first 2 persons, you'll be the 3rd person to present.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. So do we have any other person who is in this category too? So that we he said the man is here with me. Okay, oh, well done. All right. Prof was asking a question. Say, I mean, for those who paid Zoom for commercialization purposes, if foreign staff members can benefit from those privileges. It's like, I don't understand. There's a question you asked earlier. Said, like, is it only paid this thing you can stream? Yes. I think streaming, no. Streaming is for everybody now. Both basic and not paid. I think streaming is for everyone. Okay, you can stream. Whether you are, I think it should be for everyone, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Trust me, say my name starts with T, presenting letter. Okay, oh, it's well with you. Okay, so quickly, let's go on break and then reconvene by let's reconvene. No, your name is Akalezi now, trust me. Which one is T? You should be among the first 2 people, sir. Okay. So how far they got? These people are going to be presenting first. Okay. All right. So we will return back by 1. So let's have the break, return by 1, and then we Trustlin, your name is Akalezi Trustlin in Didiamaka. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's go on break, and then when we come back,